Welcome back to Root and Restore, an Ayurvedic way of life. My name is Chloe and I am so grateful you are here. Before we begin today's reflection, let's take a moment to arrive together. If you can, gently close your eyes down. Take a slow breath in through your nose and a release softly out through the mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body settle. Allow your mind to just soften. Take another deep breath in and a nice long, slow exhale. Allow yourself to just simply arrive in this moment. Today, I want to open our time together with the Gayatri Mantra, one of the most sacred chants in the Vedic tradition. It's a prayer of illumination, a prayer of wisdom and of inner clarity. So you're welcome to just listen, or I would love for you to chant along such a powerful mantra. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. May the light of consciousness illuminate our minds and guide our paths. Today's episode is a little different. It's a little reflection. So this past Saturday, I completed something that has been deeply meaningful in my life right now. I finished the first section of my Ayurvedic studies, the Principles of Ayurveda program through the California College of Ayurveda. I took my final exam. I handed in all of my assignments, and for the first time in months, I had a moment to pause. And when everything became quiet, I found myself reflecting on the deeper question. What has Ayurveda really taught me? Not the theory, not the Sanskrit, not the exams, but that real teaching that has come from everything that I've studied over the last several months. And when I was out for a walk one day and this morning, reflecting on what I was going to talk about today, the answer came to me very clearly. So for me, the greatest gift that Ayurveda has offered me is permission to live in rhythm rather than resistance. So this simple sentence has become something like a mantra for me, almost like my mission statement. Because I realize now, reflecting, how much of my life and how much of modern life is lived in resistance. Gosh, we push through exhaustion. We ignore the signals of the body. We override our intuition. We rush through seasons that were meant for slowing down. And Ayurveda gently teaches us something just a little different. It reminds us that we are not separate from nature. We are nature. The same rhythms that guide the sun, the moon, the seasons, and the tides, it also lives inside us. When we fall out of rhythm with those cycles, imbalance will appear. Not as a punishment, but like as a communication. One of the philosophical foundations of Ayurveda comes from Sāṃkhya philosophy. It teaches that beneath the changing movement of life, there is something eternal and unchanging, pure awareness called Purusha. Everything else, the body, our emotions, our roles, even the stories we tell about ourselves, belongs to Prakriti, the ever-changing creative force of nature. Suffering begins when we forget this truth, when we believe the changing parts of ourselves are who we truly are. Ayurveda brings the philosophy out of theory and gently places it into the body. It teaches us that disease and imbalance often arise from 3 causes: forgetting our inner wisdom, misusing of the senses, living out of harmony with time and nature. And when I look back at my own life, I could see all 3. I moved faster than my nervous system could hold. I gave more than those reserves could sustain. And slowly, imbalance did appear. Through Ayurveda, I have learned to see what these patterns are now, and I see them with compassion rather than judgment or irritation. Because awareness itself definitely becomes medicine. Listening definitely becomes healing. Ayurveda also teaches us to observe the qualities of nature within ourselves, the qualities of lightness and heaviness, dryness and moisture, movement and stillness. When I observe myself honestly, I see many of the qualities of Vata and Pitta within myself. Fire in my purpose, clarity in my mind, and a desire to serve and lead. That's my Pitta. But there is also that wind from Vata, that sensitivity, that movement, and a nervous system that can easily become depleted when life moves too fast. My healing has not been about becoming something different. It has been about remembering balance, adding warmth when life feels cold, adding steadiness when life becomes scattered, adding rest when the mind wants to keep pushing. In Ayurveda, we also speak about the subtle essences of life: prāṇa, tejas, and ojas. Prāṇa being that life force, tejas is our inner radiance and clarity, and ojas, our deep reserve of vitality and resilience. I have learned that when life moves too quickly, my prāṇa will become very scattered. When we are too self-critical, that's when tejas burns too intensely, and ojas, our deepest reserve of strength, will slowly become depleted. Rebuilding ojas has been one of the most beautiful lessons for me. It has meant learning to trust softness again, to trust rest, and to trust rhythm. To trust that life can hold me rather than feeling like I must push through everything on my own. And as I close this chapter of being in the classroom as a student, I am feeling incredibly grateful, because now I begin the next journey In June, I begin my Ayurvedic Health Counselor internship, where I will start working one-on-one with clients to help them understand their digestion, lifestyle patterns, and daily rhythms through the lens of Ayurveda. And if there's one thing I hope that anyone who works with me will take away from our time together, it is this: you have permission to live in rhythm rather than resistance. You don't have to fight your body. You don't have to override your intuition. Healing is not something we force. Healing begins when we start to listen. Listening to the body, listening to the seasons, listening to the quiet wisdom inside ourselves. Because beneath every imbalance, beneath every season of change, there is something steady and whole within us. A quiet witness, a place of awareness that has never been broken. And when we begin to live from that place, even for a moment, our life changes. It becomes less about control and more about participation, more about presence, more about reverence, more about love. If you're interested in working with me once my internship begins in June, you are welcome to reach out to me through social media. You can find me on Instagram and on Facebook at Chloe Haddad, Root and Restore. I would love to connect with you. And if this episode resonated with you today, I invite you to take a moment today to ask yourself a simple question. Where in my life am I living in resistance? And where could I begin to move back into rhythm? Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for walking this path with me. Until next time, may you be grounded, may you be nourished, may you move gently with the rhythms of life. This is Root and Restore, an Ayurvedic way of life. Namaste.